Today, we're going to be flying the Me-262, so let's get straight into this WoD video. What is up, my broskies? Welcome back to another Wings of Duty video. I got an extra long one for you guys today because, I'm only posting these once a week. So go ahead and just watch it over the course of the week or knock it out all at once. But I'll be posting these WoD videos every Wednesday, and I'll also be doing a WoD live stream as well. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that goodness. And yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and just get straight into this review. So I'm flying the Me-262 here, and we're about to get some pretty nice kills with it as well. And then we'll be doing some HU-111 gameplay and some escorting. So there's a lot in this video, and hope you guys will enjoy it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Me-262 as well, how it'll affect the game, and what to expect when it releases. Because it is a work in progress, and they're still working on it, but I got some basically early access gameplay to it. And I hope you don't take me literally there, but go ahead and take a look at this Focke-Wulf 190A4, for example. It's basically the Me-262 of WoD, and I'm going to go ahead and prove it to you guys today. So in order to prove this to you guys, I want to go ahead and look at the specifications of the Me-262. The Me-262 can fly at a top speed of 900 kilometers per hour or 559 miles per hour, and the speeds vary per the source that you use. Now looking at the screenshot, you can see that my Focke-Wulf can hit 880 kilometers per hour, if not faster, which is basically the speed of the Me-262. Now by now you could probably have guessed that I'm not going to be flying the actual Me-262 in this video, but I can still technically review it because we are hitting these like jet aircraft speeds. So we're going to head and start off with ways to dogfight against the Me-262 so that new players and even experienced players can figure out ways to, fight off against such OP planes. Now the British don't really have any aircraft that really matches up to the Focke-Wulf or even the Me-262 if it's released. And I think one of my biggest concerns for the Me-262 is that it's going to be faster than the Focke-Wulf 190A4, and by a lot. And if the Focke-Wulf can already hit speeds of the Me-262, that means the Me-262 is probably going to be one of those planes that breaks the sound barrier over and over again. And that's not really fair to players who shouldn't have to face up against planes like that, because it's just very unrealistic. And the Me-262 also has a very insane armament of 4 30mm cannons, which will just absolutely devastate every other plane out there. Bombers are not going to stand a chance. Spitfires are no longer going to stand a chance. There's not really too much you can do against it. Now they are going to be adding like the P-51 and stuff like that. I'm sure there's going to be premium versions of it that will be able to dogfight against the Me-262, and I'm sure they're going to be really effective against it. But I'm not too sure when they're going to be added, and how many players will even have access to it. So that's going to be something that will be obviously a major concern. But as of right now, it seems that the Focke-Wulf right now is already insanely OP, and the Me-262 is probably just going to be even more OP. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. And because I'm posting WoD videos about once a week, and I don't want to prolong this topic over several videos, I'll be covering all the aspects of the Me-262 from defense to dogfighting and general ways to fix the plane in this video. So let's go ahead and start out with defense, because that is probably what most players will be curious about. So how do you defend yourself against an OP B and Z plane? Well, there are actually many precautions you can take to increase your survival chance and even your chance of destroying the opponent. The first thing you can do is fly close to squadron mates. The more allies you are near, the more angles of attack that will open up on the Me-262. Now, if you're flying solo, you will have tons of options still. The first thing I would recommend is to climb up to 4,000 meters or even higher. The safest way to do this is climb near your airfield and then cruise over the channel to go dogfight. But if you're impatient like me, or your team desperately needs some points, you can just climb on your way to the targets. Once at 4,000 meters, you should be relatively safe from opponents diving on you, but you will still need to be on alert. Check your surroundings constantly and look for any aircraft that might be below you. Due to your altitude and turn advantage, the 262 will have a much harder time dogfighting you, and you will have a much easier time staying on its 6. Let's put this into a scenario. The 262 is coming head to head with you. What do? I'd recommend avoiding the head-on-head attack. Do not turn away from the opponent or start climbing because you will expose your plane. Instead, I would face the 262 until it opens fire, then perform a barrel roll over the plane, and then a high yo-yo maneuver to get on its 6. If the 262 decides to climb away, you should have enough energy to follow it. If it dives away, you will be able to retain altitude advantage and avoid or have time to take shots at the target. If the 262 flies straight ahead, Follow it and use your MG for long-range shots. Do your best to keep the 262 turning and wasting energy. If the 262 starts turning, you should know what to do. Now let's assume that the 262 has altitude advantage and is diving on you from behind. The first thing you want to do is turn into it. Then start a death spiral, increasing the steepness of the angle the 262 has to fire from. Once it misses or pulls off, try to gain some altitude or even take shots at it. Continue to do this until it eventually runs out of fuel or ammo, or you shoot it down. Hopefully these tips keep you alive against the German BNZ fighters in general. Let's switch over to the other end. New players will definitely want to try their luck with the jet fighter because it'll just mean easy kills, right? Well, only if you know how to use it. The Me-262 relies heavily on BNZ tactics and hit and runs. To boom and zoom or BNZ, you must have an altitude advantage. Once you see a plane below you, dive on its 6 and do your best to reduce the angle of decline so that you will have more room to lead your shots and pull out. Once you hit your target, hope they went down because they will now be on your 6. Well, don't sweat yet because you should be faster. Use the speed to climb out of the danger zone and then return to the fight to rinse and repeat. I have several videos on this tactic, all of which I will put in the description. Now that you know how to defend yourself and even attack with the aircraft, you should be ready for its release in the coming months. But hopefully, things will change between now and then so that planes will perform to realistic standards and OP planes will be a thing of the past where skill and tactics will matter more. So what is the first step to fixing the insane speeds of certain aircraft? The answer is by setting a historically accurate top speeds. Aircraft already have top speeds in the game, but there are no penalties for exceeding it. What should happen is that the aileron should be knocked off the plane and eventually its wings will snap off when exceeding the top speed. Pulling too hard out of the dive should cause a flat spin, thus creating a more realistic feel to the flight mechanics. For the planes that do not go fast enough, just increase their speed. I don't know anything about the coding that goes into this game, so I'm not too sure how simple a fix this will be, but nonetheless, it's still necessary to create a better game, and I hope they consider these ideas. Anyways, I think that covers it all for this video, and I hope to see you guys next week for some more WoD, or at my daily live streams. Until next time, comrades, I'll see you then, and enjoy the gameplay. Oh, you can't be serious. Friggin' telemarketer or whatever scammer is gonna. That was such a good flight. Alright, guys, so then I decided to take it to myself to find these people and give them living hell by finding their IP address and then DDoS attacking them. But because the way they called me, I wasn't able to find their IP address, and I'm a very novice at this stuff, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I just did a phone search thing. And I traced him back down to what province is back in India, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. I definitely butchered the pronunciation, but that's where they're from. Maybe I'll hone my skills one day and like defeat all the scammers out in the world. But until then, guys, I'll see you in my next video. And that's about it. See you later.